Good evening, Wildcat fans. We are live from Eagan Civic Arena for this JV bout versus the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars in light blue, going from left to right on your screen, and your Eagan Wildcats. Up out on the ice, starting for the Wildcats is Mead. Kreiser at center. Kreiser looks like he'll be a wing. We got Mann at center, Mead at left wing, Beckwith and Thomas, your defensive pair. Refs are getting ready. Ref singular getting ready. We might have one join us, seen this game before. He's getting his helmet on, they're gonna wait. It does help to have two. Otherwise, it is a bit of skating for these guys in the stripes. And we will get going here at this 5 p.m. game. Busy week for the Wildcats. Bloomington Jefferson tonight. Got Eastview, which is always a border battle. And then Lakeville North on Saturday. Yes, Lakeville North. And here goes the puck down for Ethan Mann, gets it back to Beckwith. Beckwith D-to-D pass back to Thomas. Thomas tried to feed that up, holds for himself and able to step around one, up the point or up to the blue line for Mann. Goalie number 40 sends it around, back up. Beckwith briefly able to keep it in there, but here comes the 3-on-2 opportunity for Bloomington, but back up to Mann, drops it for Beckwith. Beckwith tops it ahead to Mead. Mann brings it in, splits a shot through the D. Glove save by number 40. I don't have the roster, but I will get one at some point. Number 40 for Bloomington, netminder. On the ice, Siljan, Schmidt, Skoog, Razanen, Levine. Razanen takes a shot low. Pad save into the corner, picked up by Schmidt, tried to center that for Siljan. Skoog able to keep it in, but back turned over to Bloomington, who will take a D-to-D pass to the far boards here and send it into the neutral zone. Coming out, number 36 sends it deep into the corner. Picked up there by Levine, tried to get up for Schmidt. Razanen comes to support. D-to-D to Razanen. Razanen up to Skoog, who tips it out back into the neutral zone, picked up again by Bloomington Jefferson. Number 38 dumps it into the zone. Siljan first on it for the Cats. Siljan over to Levine, got caught up in some skates here. Levine reverses it back around for Bloomington pickup. They reverse it for Siljan, so that one kind of neutral cancellation there. Back into neutral ice, dumped in again as Bloomington makes the change. Groutman picks it up, lost it right behind the net. Tried to hit off the back of the net, but Siljan's there to recover. Skoog trying to pull it off the boards here. Back into the skates of Levine. Levine dumps it down. Icing is going to be the whistle. And that is the case. 13-10 left in the first. Just a single shot on goal for your Wildcats. Puck back down along the boards. Groutman, Eddie digging for it. That one goes all the way around to Gillespie. Gillespie brings that up. Eddie was streaking there. Steinke, welcome back to the ice. Cade Steinke bringing it in the zone on side. Eddie not able to keep it in. That will go for Groutman. Groutman pulls it up to Urich. Urich takes a shot. Low, glove save.
Mine went out to Bloomington. I was like,
Game is not in Bloomington. Mead, Mann, Kreiser, Groutman, Gillespie on the ice. Groutman playing D. Mann takes the shot, goes into the Bloomington logo. Back out, kept in by Mann. Mann tried to send that back out to the point, but Bloomington recovers. Back down for Groutman, able to keep it out. Mead steps around one. Got Mann going into the zone. Mann over to Kreiser. Kreiser takes a shot, high and wide. Nice opportunity there for the Cats. Mead pushed into the wall. Mann coming out to support. Kreiser not able to keep it in the zone there. Back down for Gillespie, icing waved off. Bloomington looks to center and covered there by Zane Erickson, number 29, between the pipes. Puck's back down to Bloomington point, takes a whiff, and here comes Huddy Schmidt with Skoog supporting. Huddy, Skoog 2-on-0, shot wide. Got to get those in the back of the twine. Skoog with good forecheck pressure there as Siljan picks it up, gets that back over to Schmidt, who tips it in and dumps it to the top of the circles, recovered by Bloomington, who kicks it forward, head of the red line, so that will be an icing whistle with 11:35 left in the period. Puck down for Schmidt, sent that around the boards, picked up again by the Jaguars. Jaguars trying to stick through the neutral zone, picked up again by Thomas, sent back in briefly onside here, D-to-D pass. Siljan trying to intercept pressure, D-to-D again right in front of the crease. Bloomington sends it back out to the blue line and carries it through the neutral zone onside. Beckwith pushed his man aside, interrupted some progress there. Nice defensive play there by Beckwith. That one goes in deep. Gonna let that one go for an icing. I would have called it differently, but that's why I get paid the medium bucks to be back up here. Icing is the whistle. 10:55 left in the first. Still a low amount of shots from either side, 3-1 in favor of the Cats. Puck's down for Eddie. Eddie brings it around. Liam Razinen brings it up. Steinke over to Eddie. Eddie shot high above the crossbar. Urich versus around. Gets bumped off the puck. Levine recovers at the point. Able to get it for Eddie, who sends it in, tipped into the corner. Levine at the other point, and that one gets sent through some skates, still in, back out for Steinke. Steinke drops it for Razinen. Razinen up. Levine tried to get a stick on that, but went by, so icing against the whistle. And back down to the other side we go again. Mann. That one dropped down. Nice pressure by Kreiser. And here comes Mann trying to stretch that up the ice for Quinn Mead. Mead and Mann bring that in. Stuck in some skates. Bloomington recovers. Razinen holds it at the point. Looking for a cross-ice pass there. Levine will pick it up in the neutral zone. Send it back in deep. Bloomington will have to recover with Mead pressuring. Up off the glass. Settled down there by Kreiser. Kreiser centers. Intercepted there by the Jaguars. Kreiser, Mead, Razinen fighting for it. Able to keep it in. Mead with a long reach. Gets it back up towards Kreiser. Bloomington able to recover. And Razinen tried to stretch that over to Kreiser, but intercepted. Razinen, nice pressure there to keep his man to the outside. Mead not able to bring it to the center, but now recovers, got Kreiser. That one's loose. Little collision there at the blue line. Levine back to Siljan. Siljan just fanned on it, but Levine able to get a stick on the recovery there. Loose at the point, goes towards the net, deflected up into the air, and glove save. Zane Erickson, number 29. Bloomington not behaving properly, gets kicked out of the face-off circle. Siljan to take the draw. Gets it back down for Groutman, who tries to feed it up for Schmidt. Schmidt. Delayed offside, cleared touch up by Bloomington as Groutman looked for an outlet pass there, brought in and covered by Erickson. Groutman and Gillespie, your defensive pair. Skoog, Siljan, and Schmidt up front. Siljan won his second draw in a row there. Groutman trying to cover Gillespie in the corner. Pulls it off the board, sends it up. A little too far from Skoog, but here comes Schmidt. Schmidt brings it in onside. And Groutman will have to recover. That one's going to go all the way down. Another icing call will bring us back into the offensive zone for their Wildcats. Jefferson has brought this game back up to 3 shots aside with just over 8 minutes left in the first period. Back to the point for Groutman. Groutman dumps it deep for Urich. Bloomington recovers behind the net, sends it back up to the point, kept in there. Nice stick by Gillespie, sends it behind the net. Urich first on it for the Cats. Urich, nice little play to get it out front, hits the side of the net, and Jaguars recover. Groutman sends it up for Steinke, goes off his stick onside. Steinke and Urich applying pressure in the corner. Still loose. Eddie trying to recover. Beckwith with a swipe on it. Thomas able to get it back out. Nice defensive play there. Urich brings it in. Holds short. Offside with a close call. 7:36 left in the first. For those of you just joining us, busy week ahead. Bloomington, Jefferson tonight, Eastview on Thursday at Apple Valley, and back home for the Lakeville North game. Mann wins that draw back to Beckwith, who sends it in off the glass. Bloomington keeps it in the corner, versus back the other way. Back out to the point goes by Thomas. Icing waved off. Bloomington picks it up behind the net, sends it towards their point, but recovered there by the Wildcats. Strom, I believe, number 38. Back out front. Jaguars not able to connect. Mann not able to get it out of the zone. Jaguars keep it in at their point and send it in behind the net for Mann. Mann sends it to Beckwith. Beckwith across the ice to Strom. And Cats able to get it out of the zone up to Mann. 3 go for a change. Mann takes a shot wide. Hits off the back of the boards. Thomas going for it. Bloomington sends it across through the neutral zone, and Thomas again gets a stick on it. Leaves it for Schmidt. Schmidt to Siljan. Siljan pokes it ahead, and he's in a foot race to recover Back down there for the Wildcats at the point, and just wide. Shot there by Huddy Schmidt. Skoog. Levine right at the red line, fighting for pressure. Skoog comes in to support, and gets it into the offensive end. Stretch pass deflected there by Preston Skoog as Levine keeps it in. Offside they're calling with no arm raised. Bet the arm raise will go up on that, and icing whistle. 5:26 left in the first period. Shots slowly ticking their way up. 4-3 now in favor of the Cats. Razin, Levine, Uric, Eddy, and Stanky. Back around, Levine with a nice pinch there. Levine shot on goal, deflected aside. Levine pushes his man into the board. Stanky dropped to cover his position. And nice defensive pinch there by Stanky as he gets it up back into the neutral zone. No one there to recover. Eddy trying to push that one forward, recovered there. Still in their zone. Pass to the center line there. Picked up by Bloomington. Stuck in some skates, and Uric and Razinen will have to collect. Back up for Uric. Bloomington looking for a call behind the play, won't get it. Uric dumps it into the corner. Eddy behind the net. Mead, Gillespie able to keep it in. And Kreiser centers it. Mead pulls it back to the sideboards. Pushed from behind, able to reverse back around. Back to Mann. Mann gets it over to Groutman. Groutman takes a shot. Tipped up into the air off a glove. Drop pass for Gillespie. Tipped into the glove, covered by number 40 in the baby blue. Puck's down for the Cats. Bloomington sends it around the boards. Kreiser looking to keep it in. Drop pass for Mann and Mead. Back up for Groutman, who's able to keep it in at the blue line. Send it around for Mead. Mead stopped with a skate, looking to get it back up to the point. Just out for Gillespie. Offside will have to touch up. And the Cats do as the Jaguars recollect and send it across, but not, well, now it's in. Nice stick there by Mead to recover. Gillespie is going to get that one dropped back down to Kreiser. Kreiser sends that behind the net for Groutman. Oh, off the post. Luck of the draw there. That almost looked like it hit the inside of the post, but the ref says no. At the top of the point. Kreiser looking for Mann. Line change there. Blocked by Groutman. Nice block. Across the crease. Schmidt able to pick it up. Trying to find Siljan a little too far out of his reach. But Siljan able to provide some forecheck there. Stretch pass opportunity. Gets left for Skoog. Siljan rushing the net. That one on net for Siljan with a nice little flop pass there. Skoog gets crunched into the corner. Able to keep possession. Siljan comes in to assist. Got 4 Jaguars in the corner to our 2. Out to the top for Thomas. Thomas shot on net, glove save, and a whistle. to the side of the net. Bloomington able to clear. Dangerous area away from the crease. Back for Beckwith. Urick. Tipped ahead. Just got past Thomas's stick, but sent back in by Eddie. Strom, I believe with his correct jersey now. That one sent back down for Beckwith. Beckwith trying to leave that for Urick. And Bloomington able to recover, send it into the zone. Back out front for Eddie. Across the crease and goal for your Jaguars. For their Jaguars, not yours. 1-0 Jefferson. Back down for the Wildcats. Razinen over to Levine. Levine gets to Man. Man was trying to find Kreiser there. Man able to get that back up for Mead. Rushing in the zone was Man. Razinen holds short there. And that one comes back out. Levine will have to swipe that aside. Nice back check there. And back out for Mead over to Kreiser. Kreiser, Man heading towards the net. Man picks it up behind the net. 20 seconds left. Back up to the point for Levine. Levine dumps into the corner for Mead. Mead gets pushed into the boards. Man trying to dig it loose again as well. Mead, 5 seconds left. That'll go into the corner. Sent over for Kreiser. Razinen's shot gets blocked. But nice last-ditch effort there by the Wildcats. We'll be right back after a quick 1 or 2 minute break here. Second period action coming up. Trying to get on the board. Starting like we started. Back with Thomas, Kreiser, Mann, and Mead. That one gets shot back down ahead for Mead, who's not able to poke it in fully. Beckwith sends that briefly in, but back through the neutral zone. Up for Mann. Mann sends it over for Beckwith. Sends it up to Thomas. Mann with some speed. Kreiser able to pick it up and send it in on side. Bloomington has it trapped on the boards. Mann trying to recover on the ice. Back for Thomas. Thomas shot on net. Glove save. As Mann gets tripped for a nice how do you do. Levine, Rasinen, Skoog, Schmidt, and Siljan. Shots still in the positive for the Wildcats, 8-5, but Jefferson on the boards. That one gets sent up and around. Rasinen recovers at the point. Rasinen trying to center for Skoog. That one gets covered loosely, but whistle comes. Siljan gets that draw over. Kept in there by Schmidt. Schmidt sends it into the corner. Bloomington picks it up behind the net, sends it around. Gets stuck at the top circles and they send it back. Siljan behind the net, centers out front. Still loose near the slot. Siljan, Schmidt, Rasinen keeps it in. And here comes a rush for Bloomington. Levine with some pressure to negate the other way. And Skoog and Schmidt able to get it in. Levine, I think, kicked in, went off his skate. Offside is the call. 13:34 left in the second period. Groutman, Gillespie. Eddie, Steinke, and Urich on the ice for your boys in white. Back up, back up. Still got to back up. Now the ref's happy, drop the puck. Eddie gets it to Gillespie. Gillespie sends it up and off the glass into the zone. Urich first on it for the Cats. Urich pulls it aside, looking for a centering opportunity. Steinke will come in to support as he gets introduced to the glass pane behind the net. Groutman pulls the puck back, sends it up for Steinke, who gets it up. A little past the stick of Eddie. Steinke is going to get called for roughing. Welcome back to the ice. Take 2 minutes to think about what you did. Penalty kill for the Cats on the ice will be Gillespie, Groutman, Mann, and Kreiser. Your special team for this. 2 minutes. Mann to take the draw. Mann sends that over. Groutman. That one back up to the point. That one's out. Kreiser trying to intercept puck there. Applying a forecheck. Bloomington trying to feed that to the slot, but Mead pokes it away. Bloomington sends that to the corner. Back up to the point. Back down across into the slot. Poked away there by Mann and Gillespie. Back behind the net. Groutman applies pressure. That one goes up to the red line, blue line, but kept in. Bloomington steps around one, gets it to behind the net. Back up to the point. DD, it's number 23. Over to the middle of the circle there. Man, briefly had some room there. Gillespie sends that one down and clears that with just over a minute left in this penalty kill for your Cats. Bloomington steps around pressure from Eddie. Sends it across up to the top of the slots. Eddie. Mead looking to get it out. Eddie sends it down again for a nice clear. Not quite caught by the Jaguars, but they're going to bring it out of the zone anyway. Eddie applying pressure, loses an edge there, and here comes Bloomington. Pushed aside by Beckwith. Nice defense. And almost tipped out there by Thomas. Sent on net. In front, back to the point. Nice job by Eddie to get that one back out. Mead pushed aside. Bloomington brings it back in. Sends a shot floating in, but that one gets out. Eddie gets it back into neutral zone. Mead taking a step, able to get away with one. Mead shot goes wide, loses an edge and goes down behind the net, but Cats successfully pull off or kill off that Bloomington power play. Schmidt brings it in onside. Mead goes off for a change, as well as Eddie after a long penalty kill. Back up and down. That one's going to go all the way through for an icing whistle. Puck to the point for Raznan. Raznan steps aside, able to leave it for Schmidt. Back to the point. Schmidt recovers again. Takes to the center. Shot on goal. Gets saved between the pads. 10:31 left. Shots 10-7. Wildcats still looking for their first of the game. Siljan gets that back down to Raznan. Raznan takes a shot. Intercepted there by the Jaguars. Jaguars get through neutral ice there, but Skoog has a stick on it, same as Levine. Tries to kick it back to Skoog. Raznan defending, shot way high and back all the way around. Jaguars have to touch up and start again. Siljan. Levine, stretch pass back to neutral ice for the Jaguars. Drop pass there. Siljan not able to get a stick on it. Shot coming, gets blocked by Raznan. Back behind the net is Bloomington. Nice stick by Levine. Another block by Skoog. Shot goes wide of the net. Levine will be the first on it. Up to Schmidt. Kept in at the point. Raznan got in the way of a lot of stuff, still found the way to the back of the net. Went through. Siljan sends it up the glass. Icing whistle and wholesale change for the Wildcats. Line 17 left in the second. Puck pushed aside to Gillespie. Gillespie sends that all the way around for Strom. Strom trying to get that out to Steinke. And Strom picks it up, taking it through the top of the circles. Sends it back to the point for Gillespie. Gillespie sends it on net and recovered by the Jaguars, who had it stuck right behind them. Nice shot. Max Gillespie, number 6. Sticklers on the draw. Let's have Cade give it a shot. This is a new one for me. I don't even know what this rule is. I think what the ref is explaining is if there are two face-off infractions, that in some magical land it gets pulled back down to the defensive zone. And gets a delay of game, apparently. That is bizarre. Okay. Never seen that one before. Cats, mysteriously find them. Yeah, better back up. Find them.
You don't know that that's what happened.
I'm guessing that that's what happened. We will find out at some future point. Eddie gets taken down, sent across for Bloomington. Troutman sends his man to the boards, tries to pull it off the boards himself. Delay game is the call. Back out front, intercepted there by Steinke, who sends it back out to the boards. Bloomington able to keep his zone. Gillespie carries and takes the puck up ice. Got Eddie with him. Gillespie shot aside, trying to poke it in, trying to get some puck luck, but gets pushed aside. Just over a minute left in this penalty kill. Bloomington tries to send it to the other side and goes high and wide. Gillespie with another nice stick, and Eddie almost had a shot to the races, blocked aside by Erickson. Gillespie, round one. Bloomington trying to pick it up, loses an edge themselves. Kick to themselves, send it back up to the point. D-to-D pass to number 9 in the light blue, back up to the top. Top of the circles for 23. 26 seconds left. Shot on net, gets loose out in front and swept away by Eddie. Beckwith. Not able to send it all the way down, but does get it out of the zone. Jaguars have to touch up. And bring it back in, offside. Shot goes up the glass. Eddie goes for a change. Beckwith trying to provide Mead. Has it stuck in some skates. Out front for Bloomington, able to poke it aside, is Erickson. Thomas up to Mead. Mead leaves it for Mann. Mann able to get it over to Kreiser, who's not able to step around the last one defending. Back in for Thomas. Thomas gets pushed aside, Mann to recover. Up to Kreiser. Kreiser gets it back for Thomas. Bloomington brings it in, and pinched and save is Erickson. Back down to the point for Bloomington. Shot gets pushed aside, maybe wide, maybe a little bit of a blocker save there by Erickson. Bloomington, respect the other direction, has it below the red line. Yeah, Thomas trying to find Kreiser. And Kreiser has man streaking to the net. Offside is the call, so delayed offside. Cats touch back up. Bloomington comes the other direction. That was offside too. Delayed offside. Sent in Thomas to Kreiser to Mann. Mann trying to get up to Mead. A little too far out of the reach. Kreiser able to keep control. Man comes in. Man trying to drop for Kreiser. Bloomington sends it up the boards. Beckwith to Thomas. Thomas trying to settle it down. Will take it back into his zone. Send it over for Beckwith. Beckwith. Thomas. Thomas gets it over Siljan with a nice pass. Siljan trying to leave it for Mead. Mead to Schmidt. And a goal for the Wildcats. Beautiful play. Wouldn't be surprised if there were a couple assists on that one too, but goal for Huddy Schmidt. Number 33 gets the Wildcats on the board with 14 shots. Two assists. Zane will come out, send it over to the boards. Levine recollects as well. Sends a DD pass over to Razinen. Razinen up to Skoog, who tips it out of the zone. And Schmidt gets there first. Negates the icing. Skoog behind the net. Trying to bring it behind, but that one hits the steal at the bottom. Razinen keeps it in. Razinen sends that up, goes to the other side. Razinen back to his post, and Skoog will sit at the boards. Almost intercepted there by Schmidt. Levine to Schmidt. Schmidt was trying to feel that over to Skoog. Picked up by the Jaguars. Skoog intercepts over to Schmidt. Schmidt sends it, trying to get that deep into the corner, up in the air. Bounced, but kept in. Schmidt sends it in, goes off for a change. Skoog goes for a change. Levine deep in the zone. Steinke will take it to mid-ice and send it back for Groutman. Groutman sends it across. Levine, too hot to handle. And that one goes around for Groutman. Groutman sends it for Steinke, who was ready for it. Steinke rushing up the ice. Urick not able to retrieve, but that was outside of his reach. And Jaguars come the other way and dump it behind the net. That one sent up around by Groutman, down the length of the ice. Icing waved off, not going to make it. Sent behind the net and then back reverse the other direction. Steinke pulls it off the boards. Tries to move it to the center for himself. Not able to get a shot off. Still stuck in some skates, loose in the slot, now back out for the Jaguars. 2.5 minutes left in the second period. They slow it down. Nice pressure there by Groutman. To the top of the circles. Shot gets deflected aside. And Urick able to get that one back out. Got a streaking Eddie going towards the net. Back up for Eddie. And just taken down the last second as he had to make a little hop over the goalie. Back behind the net. Nice offensive effort. Kept in there by Gillespie. Sends it back on net. Picked up. TK getting a little excited about something. Sent back down. Icing waved. Oh, there's no whistle. It was icing. It was? I didn't hear it. There was a whistle. It is icing. 1:49 left in this tied game, 1-1. Shots 15-11.
I don't need it yet, but I will.
Back down. Point for Thomas. Got it through. Loose for Kreiser. Can't get a stick on it. Still loose. Man. Try to get a shot off. Kreiser poking at it as well. Another good offensive efforts there for the Wildcats as Jaguars send it around the boards. Man not able to keep it in. Jaguars rush up the ice, intercepted there by the Wildcats. Jaguars keep it in. Back behind the net is Beckwith. Beckwith steps around one. Trying to dig it out. Man to support. Back to the Jaguars. Jaguars can't feed it to the top of the point. Kreiser is off to the races. Mead comes to help. Mead shot on net into the pads and save. Jaguars. 51 seconds left. Second period. Not very good. Try it. Back down for Siljan. Siljan. Back to the point for Levine. Levine over to Razinen with a hot puck. Couple boys go down. Levine sends it back up for Skoog, a little out of his reach. Back to mid-ice. Nice stick there by Siljan. Gets lost in skates. Bloomington not able to recover, and Schmidt picks it up. Schmidt gets it up to Siljan. Skoog coming with him. Siljan reverses. Over to Levine. Levine shot right in front. Still loose. Covered. And goal! By Aaron Siljan, it looks like. Nice pressure of the net. Might have been Skoog. I believe it was Preston Skoog. Diving and shooting. And you put pressure in front of the net, good things tend to happen. That could have been easily given up on, but play was continued. Cats lead for the first time in the game, 2-1 with 14.7 seconds left. Man wins that draw. Bloomington trying to recover. That one will go into the corner. Out front, blocked. Net looks to be off, but that's still loose. And Cats get out of the period unscathed after leading. Huddy was credited with the goal, Huddy Schmidt. Hard to believe, or hard to know from up here, but regardless, 2-1 for the Wildcats. We will be back after this Zamboni clear. we're back for the exciting conclusion of this Eagan versus Bloomington Jefferson. Live from the Eagan Civic Center. For those joining again, late in the game here, we are on another game on Thursday versus Eastview at Apple Valley High School. And Lakeville North back here at the Eagan Civic Arena. Starting is Mead, Kreiser, Thomas, and Beckwith. Thomas brings it behind the net with a little shove on behind, gets it up and out. Mead skating towards it. Mead goes around. Mann trying to get a long stick on it. Bloomington Jefferson through the slot, on net, and goal. It was kind of a mess. I think they were waiting for a whistle or something. Everyone kind of stopped skating. Jaguars tie it up 2-2. That one's left for Levine, who pokes to the side. Stays on his man. Rasmussen covers out front. Out front again, not able to get a full shot off. That one gets stuck. Levine leaves that for Siljan. Siljan, stretch pass over to Schmidt, trying to get that to Skoog. Picks it back up himself and takes it in. Back around for Levine. Levine trying to get that towards the front, but picked up again by Levine. Over to Razanen. Razanen drops it for Skoog. Skoog sends that to Schmidt. Schmidt able to bring it in. Almost had a 3-on-2 opportunity here as they send it on. Siljan sends it behind the net. Skoog blocked there by Schmidt. That one gets back out for the Jaguars. They send that in. Number 36 did not know it was going on sides and gets back to the neutral ice. Stanky. Levine brought down with Jaguar and ref. Siljan banks that off the glass. Ref is all right. Urick applies pressure. Gillespie coming in to help. Back around for Gillespie, who brings it up towards his stick. Something got stuck. Stretch pass over to Urick. Shot goes wide. Nice play back for Steinke. Steinke sends it on. Urick tried to tip it in. Still loose out in front. Urick able to recollect. Out front, back for Groutman. Groutman sends it, gets blocked. Still loose. Eddie behind the net. Eddie Urick trying to get a stick on it. Urick will come back to the circles here. Yeah, I figured. Thank you. Yes. Puck in the offensive zone for Mead. Face off. Mead pushes it forward. Back up and around. Out. Gets tipped in. Ooh, I think they got away with one. Offside. I thought Groutman had a touch on it, but they did not see it. In any case, we are back down on the side we want to be. Mann, Mead, Kreiser, Groutman, Gillespie. Back down, Mann. Sends it back to the point for Gillespie. Gillespie sends it back for Mann. Man trying to pull it to the center. Intercepted there by Bloomington. Back down for Bloomington, trying to get it through the skates of Gillespie, but Mann picks it up. Mann, Mead, Kreiser in his zone, up to Mead from Mann. Mead back to the point for Gillespie. Gillespie shot on net, loose out in front. Turnaround shot there was Mead. Mann gets taken down. And recollected by Kreiser to Groutman. Sent across for Mead, and Mann finds it on his stick. Mann brings it to the center, makes a move. Backhand goal! Nice move by Ethan Mann. Pulls your Cats back up by 1. 3-2 on 23 shots. Ethan Mann. I assume we'll see at least one assist from that pass up, which we will report back. Ethan Mann, your goal scorer. Siljan pushes that forward. D-to-D pass for the Jaguars. Mann, your goal scorer. Assist, single assist there from Kreiser. Jaguars leave it to the point. Blocked there by either Thomas. I think Thomas had a stick on it. Thomas gets that back over to Schmidt. Schmidt drops it back down, looking for an outlet up to Skoog. That one will go all the way down for an icing whistle. 10:42 left in third period. Puck back down. Steinke got Urick on his left flank. Offside, Urick a little step ahead. That one goes by the stick of Rasnin. Levine into the corner for it. Levine drops it. Eddie able to get it back out. Steinke settles it down. Urick trying to apply pressure. Bloomington brings it through neutral zone. And back in onside. Levine defends. Urick there, able to push it back into the corner. Urick to Steinke. Tipped ahead by the Wildcats. And that one goes back down for Razinen. Back to Levine. Tips it back out to the point. Urick recovers. Gets it around. Got Steinke on his right side. Urick and Razinen will go off for a change. Groutman. Up to Mann. Mann's got Mead. Mann takes a step around. 1-2. Shot into the belly of the beast for a save. Mann at the draw, sends it to the boards. Back for Mead. Mead tries to send it to the slot. Loosens some skates. Gillespie recovers. Gillespie sends it on net. Pad save aside. And that one goes by Groutman. Groutman D pass over to Gillespie. Gillespie up to Mann, who's able to kick it in behind the net. With a good forecheck there, trying to leave it for Kreiser. Kreiser trying to center it. Goes off of a stick. Stretch pass kept in. Kreiser loses the handle. Bobbles it in the air. And Mead comes in to regain possession. 8:45 left Cats still up 3-2. Shots 25-15 in favor of the Wildcats. That one recollected by Mead. Mead takes it around behind the net and puts on the Jets. Mead brings it in onside. Got Kreiser Silja coming with him. Shot goes high above, almost hit off the back of the goaltender. Kept in there by Groutman. Groutman not able to get it out or keep it in, but now is. Nice resilience there to keep it in the zone. Stretch pass goes all the way down. Icing is the whistle. On the ice, Siljan, Skoog, Schmidt, Beckwith, and Thomas. Eight minutes even left in this third period. Siljan to Skoog to Beckwith. Beckwith gets a loose shot off, more of a pass to the inside. Siljan over to Skoog. Skoog's shot hits the side of the net. Schmidt keeps it in for himself behind the net. Sends it back up to the point. Kept in by Thomas. Stretch pass gets tipped back in by Thomas. Beckwith on the puck. Gets helped here by Thomas. Thomas up to Schmidt. Schmidt over to Beckwith. Beckwith sends it in onside. Still working on it. Got caught up in some skates. Behind the net is Schmidt. Back into the corner. Siljan around the boards. Skoog gets there. Kept almost in by Thomas. And now Thomas recollects. Drops it down onside. Play continues. Back to the boards. Mead tried to put on a hit. Beckwith sends it across. Kept in there by Bloomington. Nice reverse hit there by Huddy Schmidt. Sent across. Siljan trying to win the foot race. DD pass by the Jaguars. Siljan loses twig, picks back up, and Katz able to keep it in from Urick. Urick trying to step around one, pushes his man to the board. Siljan has Levine and Razanen at the point. Jaguars able to get it back out. Levine has that down. Comes the other direction, steps around one, loses it and the stick, and drops it back for Razanen. Sent in on net, pad kicked aside, Levine picks it up. Trying to get in the corner, Urick comes in to support, and Bloomington the other direction, 2-on-2 with Strom back checking as well. Razanen does a good job there to keep it to the outside. Urick steps around. Strom enters the zone with him. Eddie out front. The front for Razanen. Shot. Loose out in front and covered.
Something is.
4-1. 3-2 Jefferson. 5:22. Sorry, 3-2 Eagan. 5:22 left in final frame of regulation. Razanen, man, Mead, Kreiser, Levine. Back up the boards. Razanen with a nice pinch to keep it in. A couple of Wildcats come in to support. Hand pass is the call. Eagan, the offenders. Take that back out and all the way down off the hand pass. Ethan Man on draw. Out front, man able to keep it to himself, able to get it back out into the neutral zone. Kreiser over to Mead. Mead to Razanen. Razanen back to Mead. Mead up to Levine. Catches it on his backhand, brings it in. Feeds it up to Mann with a nice little chip pass. Back to the point for Razanen. Razanen shot. Loose out in front. Mann tried to poke a rebound here and gets a push in. Thanks. Mann took offense to it, but ref is not going to do anything about it. It's just not. Wholesale line change for both teams. Gillespie and Groutman at the point. Ref did make a call. I did not see it. I need to pay attention. Wildcats on the power play. Gillespie sends it over to Groutman. Groutman lost it in his skates, but able to recover. Schmidt to Groutman. Groutman DD to Gillespie. Gillespie shot low, tipped ahead, loose out in front, and Jaguars able to get it back. Gillespie recovers. Gillespie, scissor pass back to Groutman, going the other direction. Tipped in there by Siljan as Gillespie joins the rush and gets it into the zone. That one gets sent all the way down. Groutman will have to recover. Stopped there by Erickson behind the net. Groutman will wait for reinforcements. Gets it over to Siljan, who lost it for a minute but recovers. Siljan up to Skoog, a little bit out of his reach, but recovers anyway. Skoog gets it to Schmidt. Schmidt thought about a shot for a minute there, but holds it just at the top of the circles over to Groutman. Back to Schmidt. Skoog out front. Groutman to Siljan to Groutman. Back to Siljan, passes it, gets to Skoog. Skoog tried to get that back up to Siljan. Siljan pressure from behind. Schmidt waiting for his team to touch back up, and will take it into the zone instead of the play. Schmidt leaves it for Siljan. Nice little drop pass there. Siljan high and wide. Skoog trying to recover. Pinches on the side. And that one sent all the way down. 25 seconds left in the power play. Gillespie. Hard pass over to Siljan. Siljan to Beckwith. Beckwith sends it across, trying to hit Mead. Mead trying to find Mann. Mead, shot on net, gets kicked aside. Mead sends it back to Bloomington, was trying to find Thomas there. Onside is the Jaguars. Beckwith pushes his man aside. Out front for Mann. Mann sends it up, a little bit out of the reach of Mead. DD pass for the Jaguars as they send it out. Mann able to keep it in, takes a step aside. Kreiser just had the open net, lost it on the backhand, hit the side. Side again, kept in. Offside, Cats have to touch up. Mann brings it back in. He's got Kreiser on his right side. Pass across, shot by Thomas. Kicked aside. Kreiser behind the net, joined by Mann. Mann, applying pressure, back out for Thomas. Thomas trying to backhand that, able to keep control. Thomas gets it up a little past Kreiser's reach. Kreiser pulls it behind, gets pushed into the boards, but continues pressure and forecheck. That one gets back up to the point. Kept in there momentarily by Beckwith, but back out for Thomas. Thomas to Beckwith. Beckwith trying to leave that for Thomas. Thomas able to backhand it in. Keep it behind the net. Thomas back to the point for Beckwith. Beckwith shot on net, low, covered. One minute left. 3-on-2. Cats are going to be trying to keep it down in this zone as long as possible. Timeout, Bloomington, Jefferson. Just over the final minute of play on the ice for this last push is Eddie, Urick, Steinke, Razanen, and Levine. Bucks down. Eddie trying to push that back. Bloomington, Jefferson able to get it through the top of the circle, stretch across. That one goes all the way down. Icing. Not what they intended, I'm sure of it. So back down for another play. Back behind the red line. Jaguars going to try for a stretch again, intercepted by Razanen, who can't quite poke it back up, but kept out and brought up into the air by Eddie. Urick on the puck, 40 seconds left. Urick throws his weight around. Forecheck, still going strong. Razanen with a nice tip. And Bloomington comes the other way. Empty net for Bloomington Jefferson. Eddie into the corner, Levine out front. Razanen. Erickson going back and forth between his posts. Bloomington not able to center, send it back up to their point. DD pass. That one goes high and wide. 3 seconds left. Nice last-ditch effort by Bloomington, but Erickson able to get the win off and keep the Cats victorious. Nice job, Wildcats. 3-2 victory. Double the shots, 30-15. Head on over to Eagan TV for the Varsity game as they take on Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars as well. We will be back on Thursday evening at 5 down in Apple Valley for Eastview.